Well, hello YouTube! In this tutorial we're gonna briefly go through type of applications that were written like 3 or 4 decades ago in C or C++, and those things still work to this day, because once when you create usable working program in C++ and when you leave it, if you don't change it, if you don't want to experiment too much with it, those things will work for decades. Okay, so let me go to Google Images, and here you can type Telnet menu. Now, if never before you heard about Telnet, it's a protocol where you can get into another machines, switches, routers, hubs, electronical devices, industrial systems, and so on. So basically C++ and C were used as interfaces to create interfaces for those serious applications, for serious electronics. For example, let me see. If you go to first results, well, at least in my case, you immediately see that we're talking about firewall, Telnet server menu, so serious stuff that can work for decades. So after you're done with these tutorials of mine, with these playlists, even without object-oriented approach, you will be able to create all kind of games and applications in general that can have at minimum this kind of interface. So when you go to press 0, when you log into systems, you will go to another options, 7 you will go to another options, and so on. So these stuff have that old mainframe kind of look, and there is a good reason for that. Once when you set it correctly, once when those things run, they will just work without any kind of problems. So not just that you will be able with C++ to create these interfaces like black and white, you can also mess around with the colors, you can create really cool games even to this day, because there is a lot of people who like these old stuff. When you're dealing with electronical devices, with chips, you can get all kind of reports from it. So everything is pretty much simple, but everything works perfectly. Now, can you imagine the feeling of someone, and I'm talking from my own experience, like two decades ago, when I was getting internet and when I was hooking up to all kind of Telnet machines out there, I was absolutely mesmerized by how these things are simple, how they look like, how they work. I do know that Telnet, for example, is a not secure protocol, because everything is in clear, sent through wire, through wireless, whatever, but still those interfaces, if you ask me, are absolutely beautiful. And a lot of people in cracking communities, they like to use these kind of headers for their applications, and yeah, but that's a long story. Check this out, check this thing. What's even this? So online public access catalog. Okay, see, Telnet stuff. I mean, these things are absolutely beautiful, if you ask me. And check the date here, 2013. So yeah, absolutely awesome. So if you're thinking about games, about what kind of interface you can create for games, they can be beautiful, like Telnet games, for example. And check this out. This is absolutely gorgeous. If you ask me, all these stuff. Can you imagine the feeling when you're logging for the first time into something that look like this? I mean, it's like another world. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up about this. So let's create something similar to this, like a header in a couple of lines of C++ code, because it's a kind of cool, nothing special and nothing scary here. So let me clear this and let's start typing. So this will be very simple, and you actually know this, but let's just type it really briefly. So cout, and let's have a kind of template here for commands. We're going to use end line a lot here, and let's actually copy paste this like a couple of times just to have that on a screen. Oops, what I was doing. And yeah, so and once more, and I forget this. So let me correct that briefly, and then we will populate it with something that look like a, I don't know, industrial interface with a Telnet or something like that. So most of the people, when they're starting, they're using special symbols from keyboard. So let me find a couple of those like this, and let's put those things right here. Oops, at the bottom line. I think that I'm aligned correctly. And then here, let's have couple of these, nothing special, like a left border when you're doing that in a, I don't know, CSS if you're messing around with websites. But now we are creating like a interface for a simple desktop application, okay? And here, let me arrange this a better. Let's this middle line transfer into welcome to Telnet control panel version 0.1 or something like that. If you watch those hacker movies, you will often find these things. So now you can also have this alignment transferred here, but I need to type a lot, so I would just, create it like this. I don't want to waste your time basically. And now let's just build this thing, and for some reason I can build it. Let me check what's happening. Anyway, my code block crashed, so I needed to retype this thing, but let's continue with the compilation process. So here, build and run, and in a split of a second, there you go. As I said, you can create this much more beautiful, and over time you will learn how to have this menu down there that will call additional applications, options, functionality. But basically this is it. As you can see, nothing scary. Okay, so I'm gonna shut up, and in the next tutorial we're gonna create a really simple calculator, but it will work. So thank you for watching, and see you next one.